All right. Well, people, I tell you, you know, you're not in control of everything, and one thing that you're not in control of, for sure, is the price of fuel. I'm gonna give y'all a heads up on some stuff that's going on. Um, I've got other videos to do that I've been meaning to do. I did one on an air filter I haven't released yet, and I've done a few little mechanical things because I went up in a nicer, better truck, but it needed some maintenance. So I took on all the maintenance stuff. And I'm getting loads sent to me and stuff right now. So you're going to hear a lot of that. So I figured, why go live as a live? This is live where it's not live. But, um, you can make comments, keep it proper, keep it right. I don't want to see, uh, you know, crazy uh, things said or nothing about me personally or any kind of, I get the hearts thing when, that's some Mike Morales' stuff, but it's best to leave that alone. Uh, and lips and high heels and bottles of Jack Daniels or whatever kind of emoji cons they come up with. I'm not interested in all that crap. So I'll just push that off to the side if that comes up. We're trying to keep this non non-personal as possible, which is why I try to keep my I'm not going to be a financial guru, like I said, because I don't want to put somebody on a company that would be bad to them. Like what happened. Um, and so where I'm at now, in my mind about everything is just like when I first started YouTube. This is not about me. This channel is about putting out knowledge, teaching other truck drivers how to work on their truck, and telling you what's going on in the world. So understand that that's where I'm coming from. And I've made a lot of friends along the way that's been helpful and stuff, but people just need to understand that it's not a personal thing for me to do this. I'm trying to teach what I know before I go. And I'm getting a billion loads right now. So let me just tell you, it's crazy. Okay, so, and that's not available, and they're going to get another. Okay, great. Buys me about 5 minutes before I get 1,000 more loads, man. They love it when you're empty. Oh my God. So anyways, I'm gonna be famous for being empty. So check this out. So I am in a better truck, just so people do know who might be interested. I'm in a better truck that gets better fuel mileage, that has less miles on it, that will be paid off in a couple years instead of having any kind of a payment at the end of it. I'm financing it a lot cheaper. It's a full-on DD13 engine, which is stronger than the DD15 engine. It's stronger than the DD13 I had in the other one. This was a DD15. I was told that the power difference was nominal and fuel mileage difference would be nominal and stuff, but I'll be honest with you, this thing's like driving. It's like driving a submarine or a train on rails. It's like you're on top of the motor. Maybe it's because it's stretched out and got a longer hood, longer wheelbase. I can't really explain it. And you wouldn't believe me if I told you what I done went and bought. So I'm going to get into that later. We'll keep that a secret till later. But just know that it's I don't know. I mean, I'm at the very least I'm making money, and I've already made money with it. And I mean, I'm going to cry all the way to the bank if that's the issue, that it would make me upset that I had to swap out, because I'm better off for it. Way better off for it. So don't ever worry about a truck driver, though. Truck drivers can always find jobs. If you need a job, you go to the back of the truck stop, you get the cards and stuff. Usually the books are better paying jobs than the cards. So like I said, I'm not going to be a financial guru. I'll have about 3 or 4 trucks before I'm done. And only have a couple now, but I'm working to get. I'm going to put a driver in this one. I'm going to get another. That's all my stuff. What I'm trying to teach on here is how to keep you from freezing to death off the side of the mountain. So that's the mechanical stuff. But for right now, I'm going to talk about fuel. And another thing that came up, because I've done Operation Hot Biscuit. And, well, this is right along with that, but I won't put it in Operation Hot Biscuit until I do a full report on it. But I will say this. A couple things have happened. It seems like likely that they were told to do it by Iran, but it's the Houthis, and you know, you could ask the Iranian leader, hey, did you tell him to do that? And I don't know who he's talking about, you know. Well, that's what you get. He pays these proxy fighters, all these groups. He's paying, you know, they support the Palestinians, they support the Houthis, they support any group that, or not necessarily the Palestinians so much as the militant group that was already deemed to be a terrorist group, but that Hezbollah, but that was actually voted into office as the leader of the Palestinian nation. So that causes even more problems, especially trying to get them aid. It's really a mess. It's a mess, and we're mired in it. So here's the situation right now. Just like they had smuggled that one missile and it hit close to, but not exactly hitting, our embassy over there in Iraq, and they believe Iran had something to do with that, and then they also had shown them with a missile on the boat. It's probably the same one. Then they had drone attacks that tried to do some stuff to some of the oil pipelines a while back, earlier this year, I guess it was. I reported on that. I put on something up on that. But now they have actually blown one up. Now, when they hit the pipeline, these were the Houthis is what's claiming, I guess, whatever. But it's very, it's cut and dry who wanted them to do that. And of course, Iran supports them. But technically, they're saying they got the missile given to them by the previous Iranian administration, which was before this one or whatever. Then technically, they're saying they changed it and they used a drone and somehow, you know, they were able to pull that one off. Okay. So now, regardless of what type of, you know, engineering marvel of stupidity they came up with that blew up something, they only know how to destroy. They don't know how to make. So they're trying to cause havoc. And, you know, the Saudis, I'm sure, aren't happy about it. I'm sure the UAE is not too happy about it. And it's going to mess with the global output of oil. Now, one thing it'll do for trucking is because when fuel goes up, the cost of fuel goes up, it cuts our wallets. Okay, it's going to be rough on us. It will create jobs in the oil field, and that's boom and bust. There's fixing to be a boom out west simply because they're going to need more people fracking. So if you're looking for fracking jobs, it's going to be time in a couple of weeks to even ramp it up, because it costs so much to drill down and fracture rock, because they have to have sand, they have to have water, they have to have this chemical that they use, and they hydraulically break the rock with that fluid, if you call it. That's nasty stuff. I've hauled it in a tanker. So here's the thing. It will up our necessity for drivers, our output, instead of them just pumping what they already have drilled. It will be worthwhile money-wise for them to drill more sites. That's what it's all about, is drilling more sites. A lot of times they drill and then they'll see what it is, and there's different basins out there, and some of them they might know they have to go further away, but some of them they might cap off. Usually they will just, you know, use it. Now if it's a place like Florida, believe it or not, we've got places they've drilled for exploration, but the laws down there says they can't use the oil because it's bad for the environment around there or whatever. So they drill and they just cap it off. And there's caps down there. I guess you didn't know about that, but yeah, that's kind of how it is. There's places that are capped off all over the place. So there is oil to be had, but this fracking stuff, because it's allowed out there to pump out of the ground with not a whole bunch of regulation or hassle, fracking costs more than just drilling and pumping out light sweet crude. That stuff is within the bedrock and past the bedrock, so the bedrock has to be fractured or broken to get to it. And it's not exactly light sweet crude, but it's economically feasible once the price of oil is so high that it makes sense to be out there. That's why it's boom and bust out there. That is the reason. So you're looking at my fuel gauge. It's going to hurt my fuel gauge, my bottom line, when fuel prices go up. So, having said that, just a little heads up on what's going on. I'll give you some numbers, and you can write them down if you want to. Okay. So, what happened was they stopped so much oil production that it cut the world's supply. Let's see here, because I have wrote down the exact amount of gallons here. I'm working on I need a white light. Let's see what we got here. The red light is not as great. And another reason I'm not going live is because I don't have much time and I don't have everything completely put together, and I didn't need the distraction of comments on this one. So I do appreciate you being here, but I just couldn't do it at the moment, and that is the notepad I'm looking for, and that was my issue right there. So, all right, basically, when they blew up that section of the pipeline, it slashed their output by 50%, and that equals to 5% of the entire world supply. 5% doesn't sound like much, but it adds up to 5.7 million barrels a day. Okay? 5.7 million barrels a day. Off the bat, they're saying that Oklahoma is saying it was like a 20 cent or 25 cent. What was it? I think they said 22 cents a gallon at the pump on gasoline, but truck drivers know they always stick it to us. That's what's going to happen. Is ours is going to go up a lot more, and they make the same percentage. And they used to use diesel used to be pumped off into a ditch, and it used to be waste. They found an engine at the World Fair. Mr. Diesel there ran it off of peanut oil. They figured it could run off this other fuel. And so we wind up paying for the lion's share now, because they charge us more for the garbage left over that's been retreated to run in our engines than they do for gasoline. So, here's what we got going on. We're looking at the gas prices are going to be up, I think they said by 22 or 25 cents a gallon at the pump in Oklahoma. I've got a link to that, so you can watch it, and then you can beat me up about how I was wrong about the exact amount. But diesel could go a lot higher, and this is just right now within the next week or a few days that it's going to go up like that, because I'll tell you why. Right now, the price of crude, if I'm not mistaken, is like $54 a barrel at closing. 54, 55, 50, something like that. They're talking about it doubling. If you double the cost of a barrel of oil, light sweet crude, if you call it that, but however you want to get your oil to refine it, that, even if it's like the last couple years, it got to a peak of, at one time it was like $87 a gallon, and one was like 90 something. $87 a gallon or 84 or something, and then one was like $92 a barrel. I hope I didn't just say gallon. Whatever. I'm not going to edit this. So 87, and then a different year being the year before that being like $92 a barrel. We've had high times as far as prices where we've muddled through, but for this jump to happen right now with our economy exactly the way it is, and they have said, by the way, just so you know, not trying to say the sky is falling at all, I'm just telling you the truth about what's going on. Somebody hit it with a sledgehammer, okay? They're trying to break the sky. But the president is going to release, to ease the cost of it, a lot of our oil reserves, the Strategic Oil Reserve. You can look that up on Wikipedia. I'll put a link to it and show how many billion barrels or whatever we've got right now in that reserve. It's really for the military, but it's for they've built up a reserve. You know, buy low, sell high. They bought it, a bunch of it, while it was cheaper, and that's helpful, very helpful, and smart to have done, because other administrations didn't think it's so important. Some of them sold it off. Now it looks like maybe they were just trying to line their own pockets. Who knows what they were trying to do to make fuel go up and maybe get some kind of a payment for that. Whatever. Right now we have a president that cares about our economy because it directly reflects, you know, I'm sure if he's got money in stocks and stuff, he's not trying to lose money on stocks either. He's trying to help us all out so we can all do good. So they built up a reserve. Now, I'm not sure how many barrels. I'll put it in the comments. Okay. But he's going to help release some of that to ease the problems of this. But that's a short term kind of thing. And sometimes when they release it, I think it takes like, I don't know if it takes a couple of months for it to get to the thing when they're using that oil, or maybe a couple of weeks. I'm not sure how long it takes, but there's a little bit of a delay for that anyways. So fuel will go up, but then even that is not going to be enough. And everybody that I've looked at that studies output of fuel is putting it at double what it is now, or at least $100 a barrel. So you take, if you're paying $3 a gallon now, it'd be $6 a gallon. You know, I don't know where exactly it'll be on the price, because you can't say it is 100% of the cost is the barrel of the light sweet crude, because they put other stuff in it, you know, and all that. But I wouldn't say that high on fuel. I'm thinking though that it could get pretty ridiculous in the $4 range. I'm thinking that this could be a serious problem, and it's bad enough that they want to find out who the culprits were and try to get all that resolved quickly. And what I'm thinking is that this is going to happen. This is going to happen within the next 2 weeks. It'll go up, and then it's going to jump within 30 days. So I'm thinking they're needing this spot. It's hard to even be somewhere. So I'm waiting on another load and trying to figure out my situation. I thought I'd drop this while I had a moment. That fuel is going to go up. Like I said, it's inevitable. So yeah, thankfully they got better stuff to do than to give me a hard time, because I'm just chilling for a bit. But we're looking at double, up to $100 at least per barrel. It could be 110, 115 a barrel. I don't know how long it's going to take, but they're acting like it's going to be a protracted, long kind of a fix to even fix the pipeline out there. And who knows if they're going to keep trying to attack it. They used some kind of drones that were low tech, so low tech that they couldn't do any type of defense against them or something. It was really odd. And so whatever they're doing, they need to put a stop to that. Other than that, there has been another development too. As it turns out, I think it was August the 8th. Like before that, in July, I did a video talking about the storm Petrel, or if you're in the UK, if you're British, in England, anywhere that you would say it a little bit different, they call it the Petrel. Um, the Burevestnik. Let's see. I actually wrote that down again. Um, it's the nuclear powered, also later to be nuclear tipped, cruise missile that Russia is trying to develop, but they keep shooting them and winding them up. They keep falling into the sea up there. And well, what happened was they had an accident, some type of an explosion while they were trying to retrieve one. Now, I'm not sure if that's the right one that I knew they were looking for, because they shot off of quite a few after that. So they are looking for, or were looking for, one. I know they shot off another one. I think they were trying to retrieve another one, and that other one was just lost still. Whichever one it was that they went to retrieve, while they were trying to retrieve it, there was some sort of an explosion. And when that explosion happened, it killed 5 of their top Russian scientists. So that's not good. And then I guess there's the worry of what kind of nuclear material was put out at that time. I don't know if it was a nuclear leak, what type of an explosion. It was some type of an explosion. That was on August 8th. So you can Google that. It's easier to find now than whenever I first started hearing about it. But I was in the middle of buying another truck and getting things worked out and getting everything settled, and haven't had time to do a live. So that's the Burevestnik, the Storm Petrel or Storm Petrel, if you want to go, all RP on me. Received pronunciation. That's what they call it when you speak proper in England. So I don't think it's the missing missile. I think it's another missile that they shot off and were just going to retrieve, but it was on the ocean floor. They went to retrieve it. There was an explosion, and 5 top Russian scientists were killed in the explosion. So the question is, it's a nuclear powered missile. It had nuclear fuel. Did it leak? I don't know. Also, they just recently announced that this be-all end-all missile that they're developing, now they're pushing it off until 2025. Probably because it killed 5 of the top Russian scientists, and it's going to take them a while to figure it out. So the truth is, does a nuclear-powered missile exist? Well, if you drop it out of an airplane and then turn on the nuclear powered part, maybe it'll fly that way. They have a limited, place that they could test it at without people freaking out that they're shooting it over their country. And they've already had enough problems with them going into the ocean. And I think that, honestly, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's Norway is the country to their east, is probably just about tired of them messing with stuff, because at this point, like, they radiated all that area with Chernobyl, and now they have to contact their, I don't know if you call them the IEA, the Europe, some type of the terminology for the place I forget, but it's a nuclear regulatory place that will not really regulate, they will test and that kind of thing if there's any kind of nuclear leak in Norway. Maybe because they did with Chernobyl, they did so much, damage, that Norway's like, hey, you got to call us anytime this happens again. I don't know, but they called them on the Losharik, and then they try to say they didn't call them. Well, now with this, and with the other subs that are out there that have leaked, that are on the ocean bottom they can't bring up, and the ones that are, the places that they have that are storing this stuff that are full and that have leaked in recent years, and then these things they keep shooting off, and now that exploded one, I don't know if it threw out, nuclear material everywhere. It's our planet, we only have one of them. I think there should be a limit on what all is going on. I think they did enough you know, when they tested, they have, you know, what are they trying to do? You know, if you already have enough stuff to blow up the world 10 times over, what more do you have to prove or try to do? You know, so anyway, I would say that Norway's probably at this point just about agitated and done with all this. I'm not really looking forward to hearing about another report or anything I would have to even talk about. It's our planet, but I'm at the point where, yeah, it's getting to be bad news. So I'd much rather talk about, like I was talking to Kid, I'd much rather talk about Trucking Stuff Island. I forget what he had said. He said something about that. We need to, oh man, something was, oh yeah, that's right. He was talking about a wooden barn would he said Trucking Stuff Island would fall in and sink before a barn would that you could build for an 18-wheeler. So anyways, we were talking. Because it is about the difference of building one with steel versus wood. So, you know, I guess I'm the kind of person I'd want to build something for forever, and everybody else that's trying to do things with money is trying to build something that'll blow something up forever. Kind of crazy. But people, I'm gonna get off this thing. I'm gonna act like I'm doing some kind of work, because for real, I've got to find another load to accept. They changed one around. I was looking for a little short thing to finish up some money and be able to send it in. But doing good. I hope you people are doing good. And keep your needle, well, keep it more than half full, because for real. And if you have a car, I would advise you to buy gasoline now. For real. Because it's going to go up. And that needle that you're looking at is just going to continue to go to the left. That's all I got for you people. I did this unlive, just so that I could get everything out I wanted to express. And, once you've, pretty much once you've got into trucking, you'll learn there's a lot of variables to it. But the major variable is right there in front of you. That's that fuel gauge. I did a video on how to change an air filter, because it's the first thing I want to do when I get this truck, because it pays for itself. You don't want any restriction at all on it. It's going to kill your fuel mileage, and it'll pay for itself with the cost of it being only $100 or less. Change it yourself. That air in, air out. So that, and if there's any problem with the exhaust, with the one box or whatever, if the DPF filters are full, sorry, and also the injectors. So what did I do? A bottle of Meaner Power Cleaner. You want to treat it to the maximum amount, and there you go. And mine started getting fuel mileage that was even better off the bat. No lie. I went from 6.2 to right now I was showing like 7 point something. I will show how these gauges work and some other stuff. Yeah, it made a major difference, and it wasn't just the air filter, because I checked it after the air filter, but before the Meaner Power Cleaner, and the first shot of that stuff, instantly, within like 5 minutes, it was cleaning the injectors and it was working. The stuff just works. So get a bottle of Meaner Power Cleaner, and 1/3 of the bottle treats something like 120 gallons, So y'all stay safe. I got a video on the air filter. I got a video on some other stuff. Get some stuff up. And hey, hopefully the fuel prices will stay down, and maybe the missiles flying around will stay up. Maybe they'll quit dropping like flies. I don't know what to say. So they pushed that out to 2025, by the way. And that's about all the news I've got on that I'm gonna put on this one. I'll do a whole video on it. Give me about a week or so. I'm running pretty good here, pretty busy. Just a quick update and let y'all know what's going on in the world and the fuel prices. Like I said, you better buy some fuel now. If you got a car and you got a 20-gallon tank, I'd have 21 gallons in it. That's all I got. Y'all stay safe. I'm out. Peace.